This story is a few years ago, quite a few years ago. Playgrounds. A lot of us remember playgrounds way, way back when they were different, a little different than what they are now. Actually, a lot different. I remember, first of all, we go in unsupervised. Mother would just say, "Go play." So we go into the playground and play. And the first thing that we do, get on those swings, or metal swings, was go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, till we felt like we were out in outer space. We just kept wanting to go higher and higher. Boy, it was great. No problem, we fell off, big deal. And we go and look around, and we always, while we're playing, we always keep one eye on the merry-go-round in the back of the playground to see what's going on. Because that was the main attraction. But meanwhile, our next step might be the seesaw. And hopefully you wouldn't get one of those big mean kids that would keep you on the top there. Wouldn't let you back out. And playing around, and then the slide. Anybody remember the metal slides? Metal slides. Metal slides. In the middle of summer, 800 degrees, you burn yourself going down. No problem. It's okay. We didn't care. Little burn, no problem. We always go, and we just keep going up and down and up and down. But always, like you said, we're always keeping one eye until we saw that kid or a couple kids that we could depend on that might be willing to push us around. We always needed that one kid that was willing to spin us around. Maybe that 7-year-old who started shaving when he was 8 years old, or the big kid, that big kid. And once we saw that, everybody would rush over to the merry-go-round. Thing is, we didn't call it a merry-go-round because for us that was a sissy name. That was a baby name. We had to give it a name that was suitable for what we felt it did for us. So we called it the Big Wheel of Death. And you gotta exaggerate, right? You get the Big Wheel of Death. That way you felt like you were, it meant something. And as soon as we knew that was going to start, everybody would rush over to it. Now, the merry-go-round was probably 100 years old, rusty, ready to fall apart. We didn't care. You needed a tetanus shot just to get on it, right? Didn't matter. Now, that thing was set up the way it should have been. It's set up for maybe 6 to 8 kids. No. The kids would pile on each other. They'd pile on the middle of the, grab onto whatever they could grab onto. The bars, grapes, didn't matter. Each other. And then somebody would start. You just go around and go faster, 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 faster. And we just keep, they just whip us around 100 miles an hour. Somebody might fall off, hurt themselves, whatever. Didn't matter. They got back, as soon as they could, they got back on, right? And the kids would just be leaning over, crushing each other. And I think there was one time, this one kid got thrown off, and it took him 3 hours to find his way back because he was so, so disoriented, and he was far away. It was just going on and on and on. No problem. We'd get off, and some kids would end up throwing off, maybe even wetting themselves. They didn't care. No problem. That's the way it was. If you didn't come home with bruises and, cuts and bruises, you weren't playing. So I just go round and round and round and round and round. And finally, after a long time, the playground finally shut down. You have to go back home. And you'd walk home, supper time. And, back then it was structured, right? You ate supper at a certain time. There was no, I don't wait now. But then you'd walk in, and your mother would kind of be looking at you. She'd kind of be eyeballing you. She don't really say anything. Just be kind of looking to see, for cuts and scrapes from your bloody nose, black eye, bruises and bumps and cuts and whatever. She's kind of eyeballing you. See if there's anything major, like any blood loss or broken bones, She didn't care about, cuts and bruises were normal. The one thing I hated, and I know a lot of people hated, was if you did have a cut, what did she put on it? Anybody remember? Iodine. And that burned like you wouldn't believe it. I just remember if I had a cut, I was like, no, I'm okay. No, the blood is not mine. That's somebody else's blood. No. And then you still be like, because that's like a badge of honor, cuts and bruises and bumps. And then you go, yeah, she said, so what'd you do today? Well, we went to play around, and we rode the big wheel of death. And, you know, she'd kind of like looking at you like, oh, yeah, right. You know, she knew it was exaggeration. And she'd be like treating you. And my father, who was an ex-boxer, you know, I had bloody nose and black eye, he'd have his special techniques that he, you know, he was looking at me like, oh, your nose is okay, or you're okay. So he didn't, nothing bothered him. Like I said, it only had to be major before you would, what, 6?
You're at 6.
Is it really? I'm sorry. Anyway, so wow. So anyway, so that was it. Then she said, okay, get ready, get dressed, get ready for bed. I said, okay. And then as you were heading bed though, you were thinking, because it's summertime, you're thinking, boy, tomorrow I'm gonna be the first one to ride the big wheel of death.
Yeah.